Hello and welcome to Spirit Alliance. My name is Marty Rawson.
Hey, hi everyone. I'm Rowan Dixon from Australia. Nice to be here with you all.
All right. Well, it's good to see you again, Rohan. Um, yeah, I was hoping that maybe you could give folks just a little bit of a introduction to yourself and what you've been involved with.
Absolutely sure, Marty. Thanks for today. Always love catching up with you and having a chat. So it's really nice to be here. Um, so I guess to summarize my spiritual experience, I always felt something as a young boy, especially nature. So I was always very connected to the trees and loved being outdoors and outside in my backyard of my house in Australia where I grew up, and felt there was a connection there energetically, even though I didn't really know what it was. So that was the beginning of it all, how I started to feel. It came through feeling about the energy of nature and just love nature. And I felt at home and peaceful in nature. So that's where it all sort of began. But I also felt that someone or something was trying to communicate with me from an invisible world. I didn't know what that invisible world was. I just sensed it, felt it, that it was there. And then as I grew older, it all sort of just disappeared. I went to school, went through the normal life conditioning, I guess, of being told, go to work, go to school, education, work, so on. And life just happened as it does for everyone. And my spiritual connection was still there, but it sort of disappeared a little bit, I guess. Not disappeared, but I wasn't as connected to it anymore. But it was always there, and I always sensed and felt it, which I loved. It made me feel good. I was always intrigued and fascinated by people who could communicate with spirit, psychic readings, mediums, people who could communicate with your deceased relatives on the other side. And I started to really question things spiritually when my father passed away. He was really, really close to me, and I loved him dearly. And it was a really hard period of my life because I was holding on to his love, didn't want him to go, and he was gone when I was 17. And that was really difficult to deal with. And through that, though, I started to question things in the bigger picture. So I started to question really, why are we here? What's the purpose of life? Where did my father go when he passed away? Is there such thing as God? Is there such thing as spirit guides and angels? Um, can we communicate with our deceased relatives on the other side? In particular, my dad, for me. And just trying to understand things really more so and ask the bigger questions. Not only that to understand, but also to be able to heal from that experience of losing my dad. So that's really where it all started. And as time went on, I'd started to read spiritual books, was fascinated, as I said before, about psychics, mediums, communication with spirit, and that sort of thing. Not ever in my wildest dreams expecting that it was going to happen to me. And then it was coming up 5 years ago, this Christmas Day, actually. So it's Christmas Day 2020. I was in bed, I was in a deep sleep. I woke up in a rush because I just had the most profound epiphany in a dream where I met my spirit guides. So in the dream, I was in a long corridor, and my spirit guides, I just can see figures of people. They appear to me as like energetic figures. And there was about five of them. And they were at one end of the corridor and I was at the other. And one of them came forward and he said, there's a few of us helping you, and I'm here as your communicator. I'm here to let you know, if you meditate, then you'll be able to communicate with us more. through the process of meditation, we'll be able to show you visions, images, pictures of things, and then you'll understand. And I woke up in a rush, absolutely mind blown, knowing that it was truth. It wasn't just a dream. A lot of people might just, think, oh, it's just a dream. But I knew in my heart of hearts that it was my spirit guides who made connection and communicated with me, which really just changed my complete life. I'd never, ever meditated before in my life. And I'd read about it, thought it'd be something good for me, but never tried it. So from there, I started to meditate and practice sitting in stillness and starting to listen, and also to have the visions which they talked about. The visions didn't come at first, but what happened was I started to hear words clairaudiently. They'd drop a word in that was like a standout word that I needed to pay attention to. I knew it wasn't coming from, well, it's kind of coming from yourself, but it was like an echo of a word from in the background that I knew was not, it was coming from higher guidance, and I needed to pay attention to it. So that's how it started. And I started a journal and started to write down these words and started to feel into the meaning of them. And then from there, I started to meditate more seriously after doing a Vipassana 10-day silent meditation retreat. And that helped me to really be able to meditate for longer periods of time, and really center myself and go into that peaceful stillness, which is how our guides, our higher self, communicate with us. And from that, I started to meditate more, and then I started to receive the visions. And then all sorts of profound vision experiences started to happen with spirit, seeing past lives, actually seeing some of my spirit guides, experiences with ascended masters, things like that. And that's when I started to get strong gratitude in my heart that this was actually real. I couldn't believe it was actually happening. And it made so much sense. And I knew, wow, this is really what I want to do for the rest of my life, is to be able to communicate more clearly with spirit in order to then start working in the spiritual field to help people in whatever capacity that may be, led by spirit. And that's what I'm doing at the moment, is starting to study, train, sit more in meditation, listen, feel, have the visions, keep journals, do some education at some colleges and schools, and so on, to be able to eventually move into a space of working with people spiritually in some way. So that's how it sort of all began, Marty. So thanks for today. It's amazing to be here with you. And so today's chat that we spoke about earlier was living from the heart. So we'll be speaking about that today. Finding that inner stillness and peace, and what happens when we do that. So I'm really looking forward to the chat with you. Thanks, mate.
All right. Okay, that's wonderful. I think that's going to help a lot of people relate to the spiritual path, because this is typically the way it happens. Um, I will just say I've been doing I've been having spiritual and paranormal experiences my entire life, and I had a major awakening about 26 years ago, and um, let's just say that, yeah, it's been a joyful and not easy, but a joyful and wonderful experience. So, yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty cool. Um,
it is amazing, Marty. I absolutely love it. And so um, for people listening, we're all able to do this. And if you're open to it and you want to, in your heart, be able to live for the highest purpose and the truth, and start to have a relationship with spirit, which is something that you're great talking about, Marty, is how we have that relationship with spirit, then we can all do this. We can all do this, and we're all able to, if we want to, and we have that open heart to do it. And it changes your life in incredible ways. And I'm so very grateful that it's happened.
Yeah. Well, that is the very foundation of Spirit Alliance. Um, as a brief introduction to Spirit Alliance, I used to teach classes here where I live. And one night I was addressing a class, and the Spirit just came through me. And I once you have that experience, you recognize it, and you know that this is a message from them that they want me to give. And what I was to tell the people was, and this goes for everybody right now, the Spirit does not want to see us on our knees begging for help and pleading for this, that, and the other. What they said was, get up off of your knees and stand in your own love and light. Open up your own personal connection to the angels, the masters, and the creator. It's that personal relationship that is the bottom line of all spirituality. And
Mm-hmm.
they said, we have an overview that uh, people can't really get when they're incarnated uh, in a life. And yet you guys volunteered to be the boots on the ground so that we could do this. And right now, with the shift that we're going through in consciousness, there's this is where the entire thing comes together. Actually, creating that alliance with Spirit, because without each other, we're not doing very good. But once we make that connection, you will not only notice that your own personal life improves dramatically, but we can literally change this world for the better. And, together we're unstoppable. If think what it would be like if even 1 million people on this planet were to join forces with their angels and the masters and actually start living from the heart and living in peace and love and light. We would literally change this entire world. And that's what they want us to do. They want us to form that alliance on a personal level. This isn't about creating another group or religion or anything like that. This is about encouraging people to make their own connection and let Spirit guide us. And with everyone that has done that so far, it has worked out absolutely beautiful. And I've seen such heartfelt growth in so many individuals, it isn't funny. And so that's what Spirit Alliance is about. And we do cover a great deal of topics. And it's not just angels and ascended masters. Also, we will be introducing in later discussions the Star Nations and other groups that are in the higher realms, because everybody just talks mostly about angels. But there are other beings of light out there besides angels, and they are well worth being noted. Okay,
Mm.
so
Mm.
yeah, this is
Amazing,
a lot of fun.
amazing, Marty. Amazing, Marty. I love it. And what I'm finding is that more and more people are starting to have those awakening experiences where it's part of the shift that Earth's going through,
Yeah,
and more people daily are starting to open up, just like what happened to myself, where it just happened. You just have an epiphany or a dream, or you might have some sort of experience where all of a sudden you're able to communicate with spirit. And it's amazing because I think it's got to do with the veils that people talk about, the veil thinning, or the curtain that's between the physical realm and the spirit realm is starting to be drawn. And we're able to have those relationships and communications more so on Earth than any time in history. And it's happening more and more and more. And we were going to talk about the heart today, which is a part of how we connect to spirit is through the heart, and to our higher self and to ourselves is through the heart. So I just wanted to share something, a message, and it was a vision that I received that was given to me, a message that I got through a vision about part of this shift that's going on with Earth. And what I was shown was two sound speakers, and the analogy was one was the mind and one was the heart. And I was shown a sound engineer with the dials that harmonize the speakers into harmonizing sound. And the message was that in the future, we're moving into a space, or moving into our reality of more heart energy. So until now on Earth, the mind has been very dominant. It's been louder, it's been turned up, whereas the heart, not so much. The dominant energy within us is the mind energy, the thoughts, the responses, and the actions and so on that come from the instigation of the mind. Whereas the heart hasn't been so much like that. And so I was shown this, whether the heart and mind in the future will be more harmonized and the heart energy will be increased, and we'll be able to function and operate and be of the energy of the heart more so, which is going to be a wonderful time for Earth. And part of that message was also that even where we are, that shift's already begun, and we're moving into that future. However, the mind energy still is more dominant at the moment, but that's going to change. But we can assist with the shift by operating more and tuning into and being more of the heart now. And so what we can do to do that is to feel, listen, speak from the heart in our decision making, finding out our answers to that are going to be most beneficial for us, in the way that we treat others, our virtues, our deeds. And by doing that, we're aligning more to the heart. And our heart is linked to our feeling, and our heart and our feeling is very much linked to our soul. So,
Yes.
and so then when we align with our heart more, we're aligning more with our soul, and we're aligning more with our higher self. And we're becoming back to our authentic self of what we truly are on Earth in this body, is that of heart, feeling, and soul. So, and from that, then we can not only benefit our own lives, but then we can also benefit as in our families, friends, groups, community, also in that way of being more heart-centered. And that then comes into how we come into more stillness as well, and about the inner peace that we were going to talk about, Marty. So that's just what I've found in my own experiences. And so to find out answers that's going to be of my highest benefit, I'll tune into my heart. I'll sit and take a deep breath and just relax. And that automatically puts you into your natural state of calmness. So it bypasses the mind wanting to have a response or an action or a thought or a memory or the mind programming if we just take a deep breath and center ourselves, bring ourselves back to a calmness, it completely the mind doesn't have a response for that, because it's putting us back into our natural state of calmness. And when we're in that calm, still state, that's when we're at peace and aligned with our heart, our soul, our higher self. And we can communicate with spirit, receive guidance from our higher self for the things that are most beneficial for us. Um, so that's why meditation is so important. Or just sitting and taking a deep breath, relaxing, becoming quiet within, becoming calm within, finding that inner still peace and centering ourselves back to our natural state. And you'll notice straight away the thoughts go. The thoughts dissolve. There's no response or action from the mind because it's bypassed all that and recentered ourselves. The thought programming and so on will come back the longer we sit in that stillness, because it's been programmed with us for so long. However, if we remind ourselves and continually practice to come back to that stillness, that calmness, by taking a breath, it can just be closing the eyes just for a few seconds, 30 seconds, a minute. It might be a short interaction, but you'll notice straight away that you come into that natural state of calmness, and it'll bypass the mind's thoughts and responses and actions, and we become more peaceful.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very beautiful. I really thank you for explaining that so well. As you were talking, I was getting a little bit of a visualization of um, what you were saying, combined with a technique that I discovered many years ago. And what I have found is, have you ever heard of the uh, chakra or center in the back of your head called the mouth of God?
No, Marty, I have not. Love to hear
Okay.
about it though.
It's it's more or less the backside of your head, corresponding to the third eye chakra, the ajna, and it is commonly called the mouth of God. And I think that is because um, of it helps you uh, find this inner peace, this connection. And what we are talking about is connecting the heart with our higher self. And when you understand how the mind works, you'll know that all of the monkey chatter and the continuous thoughts that run in your head are
Mm-hmm.
in the prefrontal cortex of your brain. It's all in the front of your brain. And that's where all of that mess is that just continually keeps going. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what I found is that if I shifted my awareness to this back chakra back here, right under the right in the hollow of the back of my head, um, that if I connected that to my heart, I could go
Mm-hmm.
into the stillness of the void
Mm-hmm.
and find that inner peace, that tranquility, that
Mm-hmm.
silence that my nervous system needed so bad. Because
Yeah.
in today's world, with everything that is going on, there is everybody really needs to take care of themselves. Self-care is
Mm-hmm.
very important right now, besides the eating properly and hydrating and all of that good stuff. You need to give yourself these moments of true serenity and tranquility. And what you said with of course, proper breathing to get yourself in a proper state. And then if you can just shift your awareness to your heart and connect that with this the back of your head chakra, okay, the mouth of God,
Mhm.
you
Yep.
will find that all of the mind chatter just goes away and you can step into the void and
Mhm.
the serenity just envelops you. And
Mhm.
it's so peaceful and so calm. And that's one of the gifts that I hope people will take from this today is a very simple, very straightforward technique to give yourself these moments of serenity um,
Mhm.
throughout your day. And because that right there is priceless in many
Mm.
on many days that
That's
is
right.
virtually priceless. So
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more, Marty. And the more we practice, it's going to help to reprogram us.
yeah,
So it's going to help to reprogram our mind to be more of the heart. And so if we take these small moments throughout the day, like you say, and just practice to take a breath wherever we are and just center ourselves and find that calmness. We just keep repeating that. And then over time, you can sit longer. And if you can meditate, then that's fantastic because it'll even be more beneficial. Um, and then what happens, it becomes inherent and it becomes second nature, where it's more of our operate the way we operate in that state of calmness. I notice too when it happens, there's still awareness. There's still awareness um,
yeah,
in our field around us or our surroundings, but there's less of the chitter chatter that you're talking about with the monkey mind. I think it's important too to note that it's not about in the beginning clearing the mind. And people think of meditation that you have to sit and be completely clear-minded where there's no
right.
thought. You know, that's not it. Um, that's great if it happens in time, but at the beginning, um, it's more about being the observer of the thoughts that are going through your mind, and but without judgment or without attaching to those or without engaging them. So that
Yeah,
if you start to attach to them or engage or follow that thought, it leads you down a trail of mind activity and you're back in that monkey mind. But if you sit in the stillness of meditation um, or in that calmness, and when you notice and observe that those thoughts are coming back, whatever it might be, just observe them and allow
yeah,
them to pass. And eventually, as time goes on, it gets easier and easier, and you can just let them pass. And then you have more moments of stillness and more moments of calmness and peace.
yeah, yeah. Amen. That's beautiful. I'm glad you put it that way. Um, Another aspect of living through the heart is because if we don't address the everyday living situations, then this isn't going to do people much good. But um, try to get in the habit. I would just suggest this. Um, Try to get in the habit of when you are interacting with other people, ask yourself, what does my heart say?
Mm,
What is the advice from my heart for this situation? Um, because we are so used to reacting rather than responding. And if we can respond from the heart, we can
mhm,
literally change so many relationships and situations in our life that you know it's truly the way to transform your life and your relationships um,
mhm,
because I know that for myself, it's very easy to let my mind just get triggered and think, oh, well, this is just like that last situation I had. And it doesn't have to be that way. You can simply connect through the heart. What does my heart say, and how can I respond to this in a more loving and enlightened manner? Because
Absolutely.
the old saying of "we need to be the change we wish to see" is the absolute truth. And the more that we can actually practice living this in our day-to-day life, that's the proof in the pudding. That's what really changes the world. And
That's absolutely, yeah.
So
I love that, Marty. I love that, because when we live from the heart, the way that you've described, it's truth, and our heart is our compass of truth, and we be guided by that, and then it won't lead us astray. Our heart, if we follow our heart, we won't be led astray.
Yep.
It aligns with our truth and our highest benefit.
Yeah, and that's interesting because speaking your truth is something that I really hope people start doing. We need more people, and I'm not talking about trying to prove you're right or this in some kind of an argument or anything like that, but really get into your heart and discover what your truth really is. And one of the things that I know that when people first start on the path, one of the things that I believe they need to do is to look at their core beliefs and see what they believe. Because many times we grow up with the beliefs that were handed to us and not those that we actually have firsthand experiential belief in. Okay. And so we need to take a look at ourselves, examine our lives, and see what our true beliefs really are. And if there's oftentimes that you will have beliefs that you go, wow, I didn't realize that was so deep. Where did that come from? And that's an opportunity to heal a situation and carry on. And the more that we live from the heart, the more that we heal, and the more that we love, and the more light we have. And that is literally the process for changing this world.
Absolutely. I love it. I just thinking too, as you were talking, Marty, because we're talking a lot about the heart, which is feeling, and it's feeling our truth and feeling what's right. But there are some people that have an inner knowing. So their truth might come either, this is just what I've found, is our truth is either from feeling of the heart or inner knowing of the solar plexus. So the two power centers of the heart and the solar plexus chakras. Yeah. And so if you're a feeling person, then you do what we've been talking about, is about living from the heart and feeling from the heart and expressing your feelings, listening to, being of, making your decisions from the heart. However, there are some, I've found, not as many, just in my experience, I haven't found as many people that are of that inner knowing from they have that gut inner feeling or inner knowing of, this is right. This is my truth. I just know it is. They have that inner knowing within them. They're right. It's right and true for them. So just in my experience, I don't know whether it's different for yourself, but I've found that it's either a feeling from the heart or a knowing from the solar plexus, where you have an inner feeling from the heart or in a knowing from the solar plexus from your gut that things are right, or it's your truth, to follow and make your decisions in that way. Would you agree in that, Marty, or do you have a different?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This inner knowing from the solar plexus, that's your power center. And that is where you get many of the truths, the divine truths revealed to you through. And
Yeah.
it's uh, quite unique. When I uh, found out my higher self's name, I literally heard it within me through my solar plexus chakra.
Right.
It it was not through my ears. It was from within my body, from my solar plexus, and it was the
Hmm.
first time that something like that actually happened, and it was
Hmm.
utterly amazing.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's um, it's
Yeah.
astounding the things that can happen on this path, and
Yeah.
but it's really cool. And
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I found that they work together. I'm glad we discussed that about the solar plexus and the inner knowing, because today's topic is sort of living from the heart. However, there may be some people who are more of an inner knowing rather than feeling, but they sort of work together. And I found people who have that claircognizance, that inner knowing, are also a feeler anyway. So
yeah,
they sort of get it from both ways, which is fantastic, you know.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, um,
yeah. As you well know, both of the gifts that I have mostly are claircognizance and clairsentience, and
yeah,
those are the ones that are the strongest in me. Um, and yeah, I absolutely agree that. And in fact, all of your chakras work together. Some of them have closer
mm,
relationships with one another than others do, but it's
yeah, yeah,
it is a concise uh, arrangement for a reason. You know,
yeah, yeah.
it all works wonderfully
Uh,
together.
it
So,
does. I just had a thought too, Marty. Something we were talking about earlier um, was how in the future we're going to be more of the heart energy,
yeah,
and be of that more so than the mind or the brain. Um, because I don't know whether you've heard of there's a website that's called heartmath.org. Have
oh
you
yeah,
heard of? Yeah, they're doing some incredible things at HeartMath. I was reading up on some of the research and studies and findings that they've found, is because most of the research and studies until now have been about how the heart is responding from the brain's commands, that the brain is sending communication and messages to the heart, and the heart's responding from those commands. But
absolutely,
what Heart Math have found and proven now is that the heart is also, it's a two-way communication. So the heart is also sending communication messages to the brain,
yeah,
and the brain is responding from the heart, um, from the messages that it's sending. So, and that's what I feel is going to happen more in the future, um, because they were saying too that the heart is the energy field of the heart is 60 times greater um, in amplitude than what the energy field of the brain is able to generate.
right,
Uh,
right,
so, and they've proven that the biggest energy center in the body is the heart. And so this is all aligned with what we're talking about for the future of Earth going through and humanity, is that we will be more of that heart energy
yeah,
as time goes on. So it's
right,
yeah,
yeah.
wonderful
One of the
times ahead.
things that I wanted to add to that is that if you think about it, we live in an electromagnetic universe. And if you look at the electromagnetic fields of humans, it is a toroidal egg-shaped field. And the heart has a larger electromagnetic field, the largest one within the body, and it actually extends quite wide out, like you were saying. And when we can bring the mind under control, it's going to synchronize all of our energies more like a laser instead of being scattered. Because right now with our monkey mind, everything is just scattered and we reacting and all of this stuff to external stimuli. But when we can let the heart control us, everything becomes more in line and more coherent, and that is what allows us to actually communicate with the higher realms. The heart has like 40,000, I believe, brain cells within it. It actually does have brain cells in the heart itself. And that is because it is much more than what we've been led to believe. Okay. The heart is a magnificent aspect of ourselves. And when we do, like you said, and I'm glad you put it that way, when we become more heart centered, our heart controls our feelings, and our feelings are what spawn the thoughts. So as thoughts become more heart centered, we become more coherent, and then we can start communicating with spirit in a more beautiful and straightforward manner. And that's how it all works. And it's really a beautiful thing. And this is what we want to share with people. And understand that you're not just a human being walking around. You are a being of light, incarnated as a human for the lessons that will help your soul expand and grow. It's all about love and growth and expansion and the expansion of consciousness. And as you go through and learn the lessons of life, that's all you really need to be concerned with. And the only thing that's going to hold you back is your own doubt, and maybe because we are taught that we should feel guilty and we should, all of this stuff. Do your inner work and heal yourself, because the only thing that can really hold you back is you. And so when you have as much love for yourself as you do others, then you are going to expand in consciousness and expand in love and expand in light. And it's just a beautiful process. So
amazing. It's very positive for the future, even though we sometimes are told that it's not, by things that are going on negatively in the world. I've found that there is those things that are going on, unfortunately. However, there's a lot more beauty and a lot more community and a lot more sharing and expansion of community and positive things going on spiritually. People waking up and understanding the bigger picture of things, of that we're spirit in a body, and being able to return to our true being of who we are as a being of light here on earth. Amazing, Marty.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I think this is perfect timing for us to start having these little chats together. And that is because we both are sincerely in service to Earth and humanity. And if there's any help that we can give to anybody out there, we definitely want to extend that. And I for myself, I am hoping that we have many opportunities because there's a lot of topics that I would love to discuss with you and have the opportunity to share with others because
Yeah, yeah,
everything from
yeah.
multidimensionality, how that works, to the star nations, to the ascended masters, the angelic realm. I mean, there's a whole lot that we both have experience with.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
Just quickly, we won't go into the Star Nation stuff today. However, that's how we became friends, was through that. Was I didn't mention at the beginning how we met, but I was part of my um, part of my process of awakening up. I was just fascinated by everything that was going on spiritually. So I was just like a sponge, and I was reading books, and I was listening to podcasts and having chats with people and watching YouTube interviews. And I just couldn't get enough of it because I'd awakened and had this connection now with spirit, and I just wanted to learn as much as possible. And from that process, I found out that there is a lot of alignment and a lot of truth out there that's going on these days. There is some, though, that's not. So it's important for people who are, reading books or watching YouTube or listening to podcasts or whatever it might be, to still discern and have their own feeling and intuition, whether it's their truth or not.
yes, yeah,
Um, and that's what I found was some of it, most of it aligned, but there was some stuff I'm like, oh, that just doesn't seem right. I'm not hearing that right. It doesn't fit well with me. It doesn't seem the truth
right.
for me. So it's good to discern that. But that's how I discovered yourself, was listening to a podcast that you did with Nicole Bickley, A Psychic Story.
Yeah,
Um, and you were talking to her about the bigger picture of the star nations and the history of Earth. And I was it just blew my mind, Marty. And I could tell, though, straight away when I was listening to your story and what you were talking about, in my heart of hearts, I knew that that was the truth, because I could sense that it was coming from your heart, that it was, you were talking about this as service for people to understand, and it was coming from your true nature of your heart as wanting to be in service and help. And I really got a sense of that. And that's what fascinated me about listening to you and about hearing about all of that. And that helped me to learn about the Star Nations and some of the bigger picture, that stuff that's going on. And from that, we became friends. And then you came to Australia. So, and we did that workshop together. So we can talk about that too sometime, maybe when we start doing the Star Nation stuff on another chat. But yeah, it's
yes,
fascinating. There is a lot of topics. I've had some absolutely incredible experiences that have blown my mind, which we can share too, with your audience. Past life regression and all sorts of things with spirit. It's been absolutely incredible. Just one that I'll share quickly, Marty, was which has got to do with heart energy um, and communication, which is our topic today. Was in meditation, I was shown my first ever life incarnation on Earth, and that was in Lemuria. Um, and I was with my family, and we were communicating from the heart through feeling. It was telepathic, so it was a link of the mind and sorry, a link of the heart and the mind, what you're talking about before, where we get this feeling and it comes from the heart and then it goes to the brain and the mind to express, communicate. And that's what we were doing. We were able to communicate through the heart with each other through feeling, and just understand each other, communication of the feeling in the heart, and also telepathically of the mind. So it was quite a profound experience to have this vision of a life that I'd led and understand how we communicated through the heart and that we're actually going to be returning to more of that in the future.
Yes, I just heard yesterday. It's amazing that you mentioned that today, because just yesterday I heard that the Lemurian energies are really returning in full force. They're really rising,
Okay.
and exactly what you were talking about. And it's really funny, because when humanity was given free will and we were led by fear and in our minds, that has led to kind of some really ugly situations.
Mm.
And so I think that people should really not have any hesitation whatsoever about, let's get into the heart. Let's do it right
Mm.
this time. Let's have some
Absolutely.
love and compassion and that for one another. And what our goal is to take this from uh, competition to cooperation and collaboration,
Mm-hmm.
where instead of trying to get it all, we try to always work for what is in the highest good of all concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And when we change our motives and our thought processes and our feelings to actually embodying what is in the highest good of all concern, we can literally create heaven on earth. And I
Mm-hmm.
have no doubt that we will. And
Absolutely. We're definitely moving towards that. Um, and it's a great opportunity for us all to be a part of it,
yeah,
to do our little bit by bit.
yeah. And like they say, the heart is the hub of all sacred spaces. So go there and roam.
Yeah,
So
I love that.
all right.
I've not heard that, Marty, but I'll when we jump off air, I'll get you to say that again. I'm going to write that down because that's a really good one.
Okay, that's actually out of the Upanishads. But
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What
It's
a
one
great
that I
one.
love.
Yeah, that's amazing.
All right.
Beautiful, Marty. Well, thanks so much for today. It's been a wonderful chat. I look forward to the next one. I hope this reaches your viewers and it helps people in some way. I'm not working spiritually at the moment. I will be in the future. I'm working towards that, but I'm always happy for a spiritual chat, all topics with anyone that would like to reach out just for a spiritual chat, and we can share things and help each other. And if people do want to do that, they can contact me on my email, which is rohdixon@hotmail.com. So it's rohdixon@hotmail.com. And I'm happy to connect with you all. Anyone that wants to communicate, it'd be great.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you. Um, and as far as I go, if anyone would like to reach out and work with me in a spiritual context, um, there are a few areas that I might be of service. I am a Holy Fire 3 Karuna Reiki Master, both online and in person, a level 5 facilitator of the Melchizedek method. I am certified as an advanced EMF balancing. I'm also an Ayurvedic practitioner and the author of the book, It Doesn't Have to Be This Way, A Spirit Alliance. Um, you can find my book on both Amazon and Audible. And I've been on several podcasts as well, as Rohan mentioned. And if you would like to contact me, I'm available at a Spirit Alliance, all one word, at gmail.com. So I would like to thank everyone for joining us today. We both truly hope that you've enjoyed this discussion And we hope that you have found the information here useful. And most of all, we pray for you the blessings of the Creator. And may you walk in peace, love, and light. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Okay.